Pivoting now to highway projects, FDOT's District 7 covers Hillsborough, Pinellas, Pasco, Hernando, and Citrus counties within our viewing area. Then District 1 covers Polk, Manatee, Sarasota, Hardee, and DeSoto. Secretary Driggers, let's start with you. Tell us about the major projects that you have happening in your district in terms of the highways. The expansions are pretty intense.
Absolutely. We have a section of State Road 70 in Manatee County that's currently being expanded from a 2-lane existing road to a 4-lane to add additional capacity and safety metrics. And we also have an interchange on I-75 at US 301 that's in late stages of completion that we're very excited to have open and enhance operations in the area.
Tell us a little bit more about that one, the US Highway 301 and I-75. The interchange is quite vast. What are the improvements that you all are making there and why?
Absolutely. So we're converting the interchange from a loop configuration to a tight diamond, which is more operationally efficient. We've actually built 2 bridges to separate the exit ramps from the main line. We've done some widening on the interstate and additional pedestrian and bicyclist safety improvements as well. Just to give you some facts we've installed, as part of that project, 41,000 linear feet of piling for the bridges.
Piling,
11,000 cubic yards of concrete just for the bridges. And then we wrap up with 4.8 million pounds of structural steel just to support the bridges alone.
That is incredible. What about State Road 70? You said that traffic congestion is the real driver behind this project.
Absolutely, just growth in the area. We look at the demand of today and the demand in the future, and we recognize that we have to address those growing, the needs and demands to come. So we are taking the road from a 2-lane roadway to a 4-lane. It'll have sidewalks, all the pedestrian bicycle amenities, improves we're actually installing roundabouts. There are 7 locations, which are much safer. We've got 7 of those in addition to the widening efforts.
How big an area are we talking about?
The roundabouts are, as you can imagine, pretty big surface area.
Yeah.
Most of those are 300-foot plus diameter roundabouts.
Right.
Overall, the project length is over 5 miles.
Oh my gosh. So pivoting over to what's happening in District 7, the West Shore interchange is one that a lot of folks in the business community have been talking about. Tell us about what is going on there.
Absolutely. So sheer magnitude, it's over $1 billion of construction. It's a key connection between, we talk about the express lanes going from downtown Tampa to downtown St. Pete into the airport. And so that's the center cog of that entire interchange. And just a really cool statistic, there's enough concrete in that interchange when it's finished and complete to build 2.5 Empire State Buildings.
It's really interesting to hear you all go with all of these facts. It's not information that the general public would normally think about. Another big aspect of this is that it is the largest project for FDOT in the history of the state of Florida.
Yep, it's a new record, so that's always fun. Now, mind you, I always say records are made to be broken, and we got a lot of big projects in the state, but as of right now, it is.
What are some of the challenges that you all are preparing for or have already faced with this one?
Sure. I mean, obviously, just working in a congested environment, there's a lot of traffic. So trying to safely move people through a construction zone and still provide access to, obviously, we can't sever access to the airport. We can't, reduce capacity on the interstate. So just working in a tight environment. Specifically,
how are you addressing issues of safety?
Sure. So some of it's speed limit. We reduced the speed limit in the construction zone. We're working with law enforcement to educate folks driving through the construction zone about being safe and make sure they understand the signage. And really, we're using some unique technologies to communicate with the everyday driver through their cell phones or whatever means or method they're using.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, so it's something called geofencing. So if you drive into the area of the network, it'll send a message to you. The message may be as simple as, be careful, there's construction in the area. It could also send a message that says, maybe it'd be better to use Himes today, based on a detour. So just giving information to the traveling public.
The other major highway that we all use is I-275,
yes.
And you all are making key changes in the Pinellas County area. Tell us about what is happening from 4th Street North to south of the Gandy Boulevard.
Yes, so that's adding an additional express lane. So if you drive that corridor regularly, we already built 1 express lane with the Gateway project. This is finishing out the express lane network as well as building a trail And I'll tell you what's really cool about that trail, and we talked about Howard Franklin and West Shore, all of the trails on those jobs connect. So you actually will have an ability to go from Pinellas County all the way to the other side and connect to trail networks in Hillsborough County.
This is part of the funding project that was started by the DeSantis administration, the Moving Florida Forward Infrastructure Initiative.
Yes.
And how does this play into that larger project?
Yeah, so this is one of the projects that was part of the governor's announcement, and it really advanced this project by more than 10 years. So, you know, when we talk about infrastructure, talk about congestion, the DeSantis administration took an immediate approach and advanced several projects, and this was one of them.
Tell us about what is going to be done for pedestrians and bicyclists. That community is growing in the Tampa Bay area, and there's always an interest in serving their needs as well.
Absolutely. So in addition to the trail that we're building, there's connections at 4th Street, Ulmerton Road, which is really important because there's an Ulmerton Road trail. And so really just making sure that both if you're on the trail or if you're on the roadways that connect under or over the interstate, that there's safe facilities. And we're doing all of that with this one thing. It's called leading pedestrian interval. That's something that we're adding, which gives the pedestrian the ability to start moving before the traffic signal turns. So they have the ability to get out safely into the crosswalk before any traffic starts moving.
So one of the things that I've heard both of you talk about is the different aspects that you're looking at on the projects. It's not just about counting cars, right? Mm-hmm. And so my question to both of you is, how are you, when you design these projects, how do you get input from the business community, from the general public? I'll start with you, Justin.
So I'll say there's several opportunities. So early in the phase when we're doing planning, we have public hearings. We bring in as many people as we can. We do a lot of stakeholder meetings. I know for me on the West Shore Interchange, I've met with the West Shore Alliance, which is a business district, and really just getting out there and having the conversations, making sure that you're giving presentations as often as possible, and really just letting everybody know that you're available to talk if they have any questions or if they'd like to provide any feedback.
And Secretary Driggers, you've alluded to that in the prior segment, that you've got the public meetings that are planned for the bridges conversations. Those are something that you do for other projects as well.
Absolutely. In addition to, we partner with our planning organizations and elected officials to develop priorities, and from the early starts all the way through public engagements. It's a key aspect of everything we do in delivery of our projects.
So if viewers have a concern or they have something that they want to share, they should contact their local officials, because chances are they meet with the Florida Department of Transportation when you all are researching these projects.
Absolutely.
Yeah.